Good morning, Boga Tov. "70 degrees out. It's going to go up to 80. A lot of sailboats in, harboring for the winter. Just beautiful out. December 20th, the 8th and final day of Hanukkah. So where's Hanukkah in our Bible? It's not in the older testaments, the Tanakh, but we find it in the newer testaments. In John, the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 22, it's where our Messiah went up to Jerusalem, the temple, up to Jerusalem, and he celebrated Hanukkah. He never spoke against Hanukkah, but he did celebrate it. And he spoke against a lot of things, mostly the rabbinic interpretations of the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses. And he said that not one jot or tittle will be moved until heaven and earth pass away. So none of that's been changed. It's only been reinterpreted, and he spoke against those interpretations. In fact, if you in the New Testament, the newer testaments, there are 1,050 laws that he speaks about that are clarified. 150 times they speak of the law. In fact, he modified one of them. Even if you look at a woman lustfully, you have committed adultery. So he, and I think that was because of David's voyeurism with Bathsheba, that he had mentioned that. But he never spoke against them, only the interpretations of them that that Judaism has dissected them and redefined them. In fact, it wasn't until the 3rd century in the Talmud that we read about the 613. They quantified them and put a number to them. You know, some of them are good, but there's a lot of them that aren't. And a lot of them have been made so difficult that you could hardly keep them. But our Messiah would have never heard the number 613 mitzvahs or commandments. He railed against them because they were still around, but it wasn't until the 3rd century that they were actually listed and a number put to them. But Hanukkah is a very important time. It is a foreshadow of what's coming. And the Maccabees, and it is in the book of Maccabees. The book of Maccabees used to be in the King James Bible, the first few editions of the King James, and the French printing press took it out to make as well as other books, to make a more affordable Bible. But that's another rabbit trail. But the Hellenization of the Jews at that time was brutal, and basically they were making a one world order, similar to today, Agenda 21, a one world order that they're seeking. That everyone was going to, back then they were going to keep the Greek language, the Greek philosophies, the Greek religion, pagan religions. And a small band of Jews led by Judas Maccabee, and Maccabee just means the hammer. That was a name that was given to him. And they were just farmers. They weren't warriors, and they went up in the hills and they fought a 3.5-year battle. And they won every battle. And every time they won a battle, they gained more weapons, and and became stronger. And the Syrians, the Syrian army, they were a mechanized army. They had elephants and all kinds of, big guns for that time. And they had the strategies for battle. But miraculously, it was a miracle that they overcame this. There was no way they could have won this if it wasn't the hand of the Father on them and that's what we celebrate. We celebrate the defeat over sin, and that's going to happen again. Judas Maccabee became the high priest, but after the war, he became the king. And the same thing's going to happen. It's the only place in the Bible we find a priest that becomes a king, and at the same time. And our Messiah is our Melchizedek high priest, and he's coming back. And he's going to win this battle, and he's going to be our king. And he'll be priest and king at the same time. It's a foreshadow. And if you know this, that everything in Scripture is a foreshadow. Everything. And it even says that what has been shall be again. And it tells us that in Scripture. That this all is the fractal of what's to come. And we're going into one world order. And the paganism is going to be, we're going to battle. We're going to have a 3.5-year battle. We find that 3.5 years prophesied in Daniel. Daniel 7:25 or 26, and where he speaks of this desolation, and he speaks of that there's going to be times, and half times. Times is 1 year. Time is 1 year, times is 2 years, and half time. So you got 3.5 years. It's that same prophetic number. And we find it twice in Revelation, where there's going to be there's a reckoning of 3.5 years. Twice we find that in Revelation. So it's a pretty prophetic time. It's a wonderful time. We're planning a big dinner tonight and get together with the family. But I do pray that all of you have a wonderful holiday, and that everyone's well, and blessings to you all. Blessed be His name, Baruch Hashem.